week 3, Tea with Maya. I'm so excited actually about these episodes. I've been thinking about them all weekend, and it also reminded me the ebbs and flows of needing some time off and time on, and how much I do appreciate the leverage of the online space. And now figuring out building that into my own rhythms, it was really funny. I've been writing a daily email since January 1st. That was my commitment for this year. I wanted to do a daily email for the whole year. And 1st of June, pinch punch, first day of the month, no returns. If you ever did that with your siblings as well as a kid, big punches. Yeah, we're hitting 6 months, and it's been noticeably the last 3, but it's been the last couple, like the last 2 months, noticeably 3 weeks, that every Sunday I'm hitting a bit, not a block, but I just don't want to be on my computer at all. I don't want to touch it. I don't even want to look at it. I don't want to open it unless it's like for my own personal research or looking up something with Garth or, yeah, but even that, like I can do it on my phone. So I don't want to write an email on a Sunday, which now negates the daily thing. But it just reminded me this morning I took Lincoln on a poo walk, and I just had to think to myself. I was like, okay, rewrite the rules. Like, I think there's this very interesting gray area with creatives, especially. Tell me if you've ever felt this. But like, we need this structure to get the discipline off the ground. But at a certain point, if the structure is now starting to cause us more irritants to doing the actual work, that's one of the bigger red flags we have to pick up on quicker than anything else. Because we're very good at getting into these, well, I'm again speaking for myself, but very good at getting into these like routines of, yeah, let's do this. But then, I don't know, somewhere down the line, it's very easy for it to turn into then, I guess I'm finding it tough to articulate because my brain's suddenly going, okay, well, nuance here, because in whatever you do, there are days and things that you don't want to do that actually move the business forward that you need to do in order to set up a business. Like have an account that people can have a payment link for and all that sort of stuff, and do the admin and send the emails and yeah, I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about like a disturbance in the force. Like, my flow has been really good. The daily emails have been fueling me since January, and I've loved it, and I've loved what it's brought out. I love the perspectives. I do like the regular touch points, and I need that. Too many days off for me in terms of something that I'm enjoying doing and creating and bringing into fruition. It's very easy for me to suddenly go squirrel and then be off on another tangent somewhere. And for me, I know, as like an anchor point, the newsletters, the emails, I mean, it's led me to do this. So again, that practice of putting my concepts and my thoughts and my perspectives and my daily insights and understandings into words and publishing and putting it out and getting that practice of then inviting people into that, and seeing where the numbers are moving. I need to do a bit better at doing that. But you guys are invited if you want to go to my newsletter. It's the written version. I guess kind of, no, it's not really the written version of this. The topics are completely different. That's been more of a stable thought process that has come through a lot longer. These are a lot more, well, completely off the cuff. So yeah, and see if we can keep up with my scatterbrain. Because now I want to do the same thing that I've done with my writing, I guess, now with my speaking, because I see how powerful this skill set is. And I also want to show people how to break out of this themselves. And in order to do that, I have to do it myself. So we are here. But again, it's sort of back to this, like this niggling feeling, like I said, I wanted the time off, and I need to honor the fact that that was calling me more than forcing myself to do a daily email. And so this morning, I made the executive decision. My email's just going to shift same to these, because I've actually been enjoying these, doing it 5 days a week and then having 2 days off to kind of just live life, do life without feeling like I have to constantly check in with something. Yeah, it's this balance of being public and private. I think you've got to, work it out. It just, I guess it makes me laugh. The daily emails thing was also a complete just like shit on in my face in terms of I was struggling doing weekly emails. And so I felt like I had to go all the way this way to just sort of prove to myself that the output wasn't the problem, but that the output needed to happen in terms of, you've got to remember at the end of the day when you're in your own echo chamber and sphere, there's back end stuff and there's front end work, and you can get very caught inside the business, feeling like you're doing a lot and feeling like you're getting a lot done. But if you're not at the same time letting the public know or getting your signal out there as to what's going on and ruminating in here, it's very easy to suddenly be in a lull of 6 months where you've not posted online, you've not put anything forward facing, and then suddenly you've either got this idea or this launch or this thing that you want to get going, and there is no momentum behind what's been happening. There's no excitement, there's no build up, there's no tension, nobody knows, which means you are then getting to a point where you're excited to release something and you're feeling like you have to start the process of educating people around what it is that you're doing. Make it make sense. It's not a good way to go about it. Oh, and today we are drinking local hot milk tea. Rural cha, rural cha, yeah, rural cha in Cantonese. Hot milk tea. Rural cha. Is that just in Mandarin? Dong lai cha. That's cold. Clearly, it's never been a priority for me to learn the language of the country that I was born and raised in. Gotta get better at food this year. Gotta get better. But again, see, even that. It's like, just because you're there doesn't mean by default something's gonna happen. People think the only way to learn a new language is to move to a country. It's like, I've lived here my whole life. Do not speak fluent Cantonese. Barely speak taxi Cantonese. Which is embarrassing. But we'll push that to one side for a minute. And let's come back to this conversation about creatives and finding that gray area. And it's so hard because there are certain pillars, again, that have to happen. That was it. It was the hiding in the front end and the back end. And like I said, it is very easy to get caught up in the fact that you're doing all these things and then forgetting to signpost the signal. And this is really where these sidekicks and learning to use AI and learning to use these tools have become such a pillar in what I teach and what I do. Because again, if the heavy lifting is done, and if, say you have an idea in the morning for something that you want to launch, a little group, a little whatever it is, you have an idea, a light bulb moment in the shower, and before lunchtime, you have a post ready, you have an email ready, hell, you probably even have an email sequence ready, you have the landing page copy ready, you have a document that you can print ready to send people that has the payment link, so that's all you have to do, and then you have to put up a few posts and test it and see if there is any excitement. Closing the gap between the knowing and the doing. That's part of it. That was always my favorite quote from Glennon Doyle's Big Magic. Continue to shorten the gap between the knowing and the doing. But when people are producing stuff so fast and it is taking you so long to ruminate on a thought and articulate what it is you're trying to say to the right kind of people, when you know inside of you, like, you've got the excitement towards it, and it's just a case of putting in the details, putting in dates, and then getting it in front of people. Oh, this is heavy, Mike. It's pulling down my shirt. Yeah, I feel like the game then becomes more fun because this is it. Like, I'm even looking at my big calendar. That was the best thing I did the last 2 years. Get one of those big calendars, office calendar. I can see the whole year. I'm sitting there going, I feel like I'm we're losing a bit of momentum, or it's like, we're not even in month 6. We're not even finished with month 6. We're not even halfway through the year yet. And you feel like you're losing momentum? It's like, momentum for what? Like, this was my favorite quote. It's your job to stay inspired. All right? It's your job to stay inspired. It's your job to come up with the big ideas, to come up with the movement, to then come up with the teachings, to then bring the people together, to then have the conversations or build the product or create the art or do the thing that actually is the thing that is delivered to the end user. Marketing is your only way at the moment to kind of be like, hello, I have an idea. I'd anybody like to come with me? And so you have to kind of merge the two, or the way that I feel like I've been leaning into it over the last few years is merging the two. I have always looked at content creation as my sort of art form. It's always been a form of therapy for me as my kind of art form, and documenting my journey. And in return, it has always allowed me to find new projects, new people, new opportunities, new things that I never would have thought were possible, always through those continued connections. And I think this is why I guess this is really exciting, because this is an element that I haven't explored in terms of finding brand new people who haven't met me yet, who would like to spend some time with me. And if you would like a wing woman in your corner, check the links, check the things, but just more people that are having these conversations. Because again, you are in your own bubble where you are, kind of isolated. I picked a card today actually that I'm going to read just before we sort of finish off this segment, because I think it's suitable for what comes up today. And it's the visualization I always tend to have or come back to whenever I feel like I'm grasping for things and nothing's there, or I feel like I'm looking outwards for the solution when the only actual answer is right here. And I do hold the answers, and I'm very nifty when it comes to just, getting on with it and sorting things out and manifesting what you need in order to get what you're looking to do. I don't know why I'm keeping it so vague, but I feel like the only way to do it is to keep it so vague so that it helps you. Because for me, like, I remember the turning point in when it was 5 years ago, almost. But it took 3 months after I sat down and made the decision internally, put it out to the universe, and did nothing but focus on my side of the equation. And again, that I say again, you guys haven't been hearing what's been going on in my mind, so I will say to you for the first time on here. It was a phrase that I keep coming back to from Shoshana Raven. Beautiful. It's like, you've got to stay fully committed to the process and fully detached from the outcome. And that is the hardest thing to do when you're not feeling like you're in this ease of flow, or it also feels like this big schlump every time you feel like you have to up and launch something or up and create something. And I've been working really hard this year to take so much heaviness off of my plate and make all of this light and make all of this fun. And it's taken 5 months to get to the point where this has now become fun and feeling light and feeling like something that I want to commit to, because I know what the long-term benefits of doing this are. I also want the long-term benefits of building a community online in this way. So, in order to do that, as somebody that is very much needing, well, not needing, but I work very well when I reflect, like when I can have a question pointed at me and then I can answer it. That's great. But that puts you in a very odd situation as a creator, where you sit there going, okay, but I can create anything. I need to know what their problems are. It's like, it creates like a little catch-22 in terms of stunting your own growth. You have to get to the point where you're actually starting to start the conversation, put things out there, because that's what you can control, and then allow the, I don't know, it's not reflective, reactive? Anyway, then allow the conversation to be, sorry, I'm doing all the little hand movements, it's sort of funny. But allow it to flow, and then allow it to go where the audience takes it. But you see what I mean? Where you have to start the spark or start the conversation in order for you can't wait for somebody to ask you a question. You have to put yourself in front of people in your own profession, in your own skill set, in your own qualities, or whatever that looks like to you online, and then allow people to come in and ask those deeper questions. It's like, oh, okay, well, what would you do in this situation? Or what would you do in this? And what would you do in that? to then allow you to showcase the depths of the nuance that you have experienced because you have life experience. And yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. Again, very, very strange people. People, very strange species, strange being that we can hold all of this and still sometimes feel at a loss. It blows my mind. But yeah, it's just again, I said it again. I have these conversations with myself first before I chat with you. So, oh. And then I lost my thread because I was making fun of myself. How stupid is that? I was picking up on myself for saying again. What was I saying again for? When it comes to being a creator, when it comes to being an artist, when it comes to being an independent, you are the boss. And at the end of the day, if something shifts that you can see is going to affect your process in the long run, like nip it in the bud. All right? And especially when it comes to cycles and seasons and rhythms. Like, I feel like now, again, 5 years post surgery, which means 5 years post agency, that first 2 years after were recovery, travel, mass recovery. I'm going to put double recovery from building the business and the relationship and having to walk away from that. The actual surgery recovery was 18 months. And it was just, that was a lot. That was 2 years. But it was the first 2 years I started to look within and ask myself the big questions. What are my values? What do I want in this life? Because it had become blatantly clear that money wasn't a driving force. It didn't impress me. I refused to kill myself in the process of an income or of a business model. Not going to happen. Working with people like that shift that you see, I can't quite explain it, but there's this odd hierarchy thing where it's like we've also been conditioned that the customer is always right. But then we've also been conditioned as service providers to sometimes put our customers higher than our services that we're providing. But what we forgot as a business, as a marketing agency, is that we are helping people with the engine that is bringing in new income. And if you do that wrong, well, not wrong, but you can waste an awful lot of money and time spinning your wheels, right? And so I do find it very interesting where people decide that the things that they want to skimp on, or the things that they don't want to get professional help from, or the things that they don't want to learn about or outsource about is everything that's actually going to be income generating for the business. Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, it's very easy to have this nasty relationship with your clients, especially when you are building a business and you are then, using the money and you're building out as you use the money. I think, again, you just got to zoom out and remember, like, I feel like all of this has just been teaching me so much more patience, so much more like, oh, I don't know. I just had another one of those points the other day where I felt like I was feeling a bit, like, what do I do? Okay, and I sort of set myself this challenge. It's like, all right, well, we're going to go on this mountain trip this year. We're going to be going to Peru. I want to be making sure that we're having a fun time. All right, so I want everything to be covered. I want to have extra. I want to have a buffer. I want to make sure things are ready for the trip, and we've got time. And again, something about this summer months and this tinglings I've been feeling recently, like, feels like my spidey senses have come online. And anyway, spoke to the agency that I was working with. I work with, as a vendor, see if they were looking for any extra income, and they were like, no. And a couple of other people I'd reached out to, and it's like, it's not quite the right opportunity. And again, I just reminded myself I was starting to look outward at other people to help with this sort of stuff. And there's a few things I've been ruminating on. And again, I've got these sidekicks that I've just built. And I think that was very anticlimactic, getting those out, and quite a lot of effort to get them out. And then with the family in town, I sort of feel like I've lost a little bit of the magic with what actually has been built. and what actually is happening. And I'm still getting, really good feedbacks from my clients that are using it, and starting to get a few more clients testing it out. And I had this thought the other day where I was like, it's okay, Maya. You've just gotta stay patient and keep growing the things around you in the way that makes sense to you. Because if you force it, and if you make it break, or if you force the wrong people into it, it also doesn't help. Because I also realized the other day, I got one of the feedback things from one of the users of the apps, and it was like, I would like to have this, and this folder system and this, so that it's kind of like Perplexity. And I just had, it's taken me a long time to get to this place where I feel like I can stand my ground in terms of what I want, what I'm building, who it's for, and what I'm willing to sacrifice and not sacrifice in terms of this beginning phases, especially in these beginning phases. I would rather take the extra time to go and find the right people to make sure that these tools are being built properly and being utilized properly, instead of going and rushing and getting 100 people into it, them shitting all over it, feeling like it's not going to work when, it's not the point of the tool. Like, these guys are specifically marketing sidekicks. They are the sellers of you. They're not the help you do the workbooks for your clients and the presentations and the actual production of your deliverables for your clients. They are the marketing voice. They are your plug and play marketing team that you can operate yourself as a solo business owner, or down the line, you're able to then have a VA or somebody within your own in-house marketing team operating it with your voice still attached. And ideally, these are personal brands to start with, but it doesn't matter if it's a company, because you can use the company branding and the company voice to help with the marketing. That still works. But it's not a tool for within a business to be a service provider. I think, that's really the biggest thing. Again, I said again. Coming off that 2024 AI challenge that we ran. 4 months we did that. It was a 10-day challenge. And I actually realized this is what I'm probably going to do again. Maybe not 10 days. I'm actually thinking I might do it a month, or maybe 2 weeks. Let's see. Let's do the first one. But if you guys would like to find out about that, comment June challenge below, or jump into my email newsletter so that you're the first to know about it. But I'm going to bring a group together with the founding members' rates to test this, but with my periphery and in a group where you can ask questions and we can troubleshoot things together with some like weekly check-ins and office hours type thing. So that's exciting. I thought of that this morning. And again, I've got my bots, so now I'm going to whip up the landing page, whip up the post, have it ready in an email, and get that moving. Immediately, my thought was like, oh, it's 10 to, is it enough to start it next week? I was like, okay, maybe 7 days isn't enough, but 10 days is. And 10 days we can get going. And Mondays is also a good day, because that's a marketing Monday on many Facebook groups and many community platforms. So Mondays are always a good push for things. So let's see. 1st of June as well. New month, new things. And it's not even new things. I think this is what the nice thing about having these bots is that it allows you different ways to create new spins and new insights on things that are working, but that are anchor points that when you say one thing over and 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 over again, people stop listening. So finding different way-ins and having a few different offers on a rotation keeps your audience thinking that you are doing lots of different things all at the same time, when actually it's really just feeding into 3 core offers or 3 core things, or a base community that then is an open and closed cohort that keeps feeding it every couple of months. The ideas are out the wazoo. How you then decide to tackle it, operate it, and execute it is totally up to you. But this is, like I said, what I love about these bots. They allow you to stay light, they allow you to stay on your feet, and they allow you to test things and then trust the launch process and do the whole thing. And don't freak out if by the last day you still haven't had anybody signed up. Do the whole thing, close the cart. If you get people through, brilliant, you've made a sale, you've done something. If you don't, you have data that that is not what people want in that version. So we've got to redress it. We've got to give them something that they think they want in order to get the goal that you know is good for them. That's always that give them the chocolate and then feed them the salad. I don't really like that analogy because I think it can all kind of come into play, but it's that with the marketing side and the storytelling. It's like, what about your product is going to make people come through without friction? That's it. Because there is no need for it to be friction. There's no need. When you're in front of the right people and you have the right thing and you've articulated it in the right way. And then the game is just to keep going. So yeah, I think that's all for today. I'm very excited. Oh, I wanted to read this card really quickly. Because again, this is the one that I pulled, well, it's the one I pulled this morning. Ooh, the outsider. So you can see it's like a little kid standing in front of a gate. But if you look closely, the lock is actually open. All right, so this reads, the small child in this card is standing on one side of a gate looking through it. He is so small and so convinced that he cannot get through, he cannot see that the chain holding the gate is not locked. All he has to do is open it. Whenever we feel left out or excluded, it brings up this feeling of being a small, helpless child. It's not surprising, as the feeling is deeply rooted in our earliest childhood experiences. The problem is that, because it is so deeply rooted, it plays in our lives over and over again like a recording. You have an opportunity now to stop the tape, to quit tormenting yourself with the ideas that you are somehow not enough to be accepted and included. Recognize the roots of these feelings are in the past and let go of the old pain. It will bring you the clarity to see how you can open the gate and enter that which you most long to become. It's on you, guys. It's on you. It's very easy to feel left out and like no one's going to pick me and nobody wants my stuff and nobody wants these. Well, what are you going to do about it? And if you would like to have a strategy session about it, click the links up top. You know where to find me. All right, happy Monday. Episode 10. That's exciting. I'll see you guys this week. And yeah, let's see what unfolds.